chamomile.
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Thank you so much for joining us to present the news. My name is Luizia Nalupumbwe. The Zambia United Local Authorities Workers Union, Zulao, has accused government of bloating council workforce, resulting in local authorities across the country to be incapacitated. And now speaking to Prime TV News in an interview in Kasama, Zulao Kasama branch chairperson Matthias Chiwasha says the same government has, on the other hand, continues to deploying workers beyond the capacity of the local authorities. And now meanwhile, another Zulao official, Emmanuel Muisa, says government should be concerned with addressing the challenges council workers are going through than threatening them for taking part in a sitting in protest. Henry Gosa reports.
On a sitting in protest due to delayed salaries, Minister of Local Government Charles Banda on Wednesday, 23rd October 2019, at a press briefing in Lusaka said that there was no need for the council workers to take part in the countrywide sitting protest because there was no dispute between the employer and the employees. However, the minister's threats to workers taking part in the sitting in protest has not been well received by the Zambia United Local Authorities Workers Union.
The move by the minister just to hold a press briefing and also to threaten the workers, to us, we feel that is not the way it should be done. The government, through the minister, the expectations by the workers was that the workers' representatives will be invited to the meeting. It is believed that where contentious issues have been raised, these issues should be resolved through cross-door meetings where you resolve. Even as
workers at Kasama Municipal Council have gone for 4 months without pay. According to Zulao Kasama branch, the local authority has a monthly revenue base of about 500,000 kwacha, but the salary scale is about 1.9 million kwacha. Zulao Kasama branch chairperson Matthias Chiwasha has accused the central government of creating a bloated workforce in local authorities, thereby incapacitating them.
We can only manage to raise about 400 to 500 within that much, and then our wage bill is 1.9. So we are very far from meeting the target. We can't pay salaries. We have been incapacitated by government itself, even if they are saying they have no responsibility to pay council employees' salaries. Actually, it is their responsibility because they have been responsible for creating a bloated workforce. They have kept on employing. Almost every day we are receiving people. We had our only number which we could manage as a council. But now, because of their continuous employing, they have incapacitated this council. It has become difficult for us to pay. It's the commission that is responsible for this, but how do they turn back and say they can't pay? Because the people are coming from them. They are the ones who are sending people every day.
For now, the sitting in protest by the council workers continues until their demands are met. Henry Ngosa reporting for Prime TV News in Kasama, Northern Province.
And the Zambia United Local Authorities Workers Union has challenged government to be releasing the equalization fund on time so that salaries for council workers are not delayed. Zulao President Kinsley Zulu says the Ministry of Finance should not be selective by paying other civil servants on time while delaying to release the equalization fund used to pay council workers' salaries. Details in this report.
With a nationwide strike by council workers still in effect due to delayed payment of salaries, the Zambia United Local Authorities Workers Union has challenged governments to start releasing the equalization fund on time so that council workers' salaries are paid on time. Council workers across the country are in salary arrears ranging from 2 to 5 months, a move which has culminated into the unionized local authorities workers protesting. Zulao President Kingsley Zulu says the delay to release the equalization fund has negatively impacted on the operations of the councils.
The issues of salaries in the councils have still remained a very daunting task for the union. Of course, we've had several meetings with the Minister of Finance and our own line ministry to find a lasting solution to the problems of the delayed disbursement of local government equalization fund. You may be aware that about 68 local authorities are totally dependent on local government equalization fund for both administration as well as payment of salaries. Hence, the delay in releasing the equalization fund has a spillover effect in terms of the salaries as well as the administration of the local authorities.
Mr. Zulu challenges the Ministry of Finance to ensure that council workers are equally paid on time, just like other civil servants.
We see a situation where the Minister of Finance has continuously paid a blind eye to this matter, despite us engaging on these matters, on the need for the Minister of Finance to prioritize the disbursement of local government equalization fund just as much as it prioritizes the payment of salaries for the civil servants. But what we have now, sadly, is that civil servants will be paid. They are paid this month, the following month they are paid again, the equalization fund still lags behind. So we are questioning the rationale behind that. Where is the sincerity? Appeal to government to prioritize this, specifically the Minister of Finance, to prioritize the disbursement of local government equalization funds so that councils can deliver both service as well as be able to pay salaries to our workers on time. We are public workers, we need to be treated the same way those are the Ministry of Public Service.
In 2015, government introduced the Local Government Equalization Fund through an amendment of the Local Government Act to supplement local government revenue. Almost all councils across the country are dependent on the same equalization fund to pay the salaries for the workers. Naomi Mwemba, Prime TV News, Lusaka.
And now mayors and council chairpersons in Southern Province have continued questioning government silence on improving conditions attached to their terms of office. They say it is unfortunate that government has failed to clearly follow the constitution on several issues affecting governance at local government level. They now fear they might not even accrue any benefits once their terms are over, as the government has continued using terms which applied when they were still being voted by fellow councillors. Details in this report.
We request the government of Edgar Lungu to consider and start honoring constitutional arrangements, because these things actually are in the constitution.
It's not the first time issues concerning conditions of service for mayors, council chairpersons and councillors is being brought up in reference to their terms of office since changes that they will be directly elected by electorates as opposed to fellow councillors in the clause derived from Article 154. They say time has passed without the matter being given the attention it deserves, calling for measures to be taken immediately. Paul Jilala is Gwembe council chairperson.
Apart from what has been said, Constituent Development Fund is a nightmare. It has not been coming because that money actually is meant to assist in addition to Equalization Fund so that projects can take off in the constituencies and the districts.
Davis Sifue is Namwala council chairperson.
Because for the past 3 years they have been assuring us that they are going to work with President Lungu and the Cabinet Office and the Secretary to the Treasury to ensure that conditions of service for the elected leaders, especially mayors and council chairmen, are concluded as soon as possible. It is now over 3 years down the line and nothing has been improved.
Kalomo and Zimba Town Council chairpersons Koi Magaya and Grave Mulea have equally added their voices, saying government has failed to stick to the earlier promises of addressing their concerns, a situation they say is unfortunate.
Our message is that when we are disappointed that have been these offices or for all this long without a clear document given to us to understand our benefit at the end of us serving these offices. And the other comment I want to give our Southern Chapter is that government should adhere to the Constitution of Zambia, where it indicates that it requires government to give congestion fund on monthly basis. That makes its operation of the council.
We have done more than before because the development strides that we have made, they can be seen and they can be spelled out. When they were having chairpersons and mayors led by the other people, they did not have the mandate or they didn't have the capacity to push the development agendas of this nation, of the local authorities. So now that they are trying to revert back, it is still tells us that the so-called decentralization definitely is not going to take off, because people who have no mandate from the electorates, they will be paying allegiance to their fellow councillors and not to the people that elected them.
Government, on the other hand, maintains that it will look at the matter, but remains the issue of when, as time keeps moving towards the end of terms of office, amid fear that they may not accrue benefits in line with the revised term of office. The other bone of contention is the role played by deputy mayors and deputy council chairpersons, which remain as per time. Elias Limonya, Prime TV News, Joma, Southern Province.
The local authority superannuation funds LASIF says it will take up to 6 months to pay the 251 million kwacha released by local government to retirees. LASIF Public Relations Manager Chishimba Milongo says that this is due to the verification process of personal and bank details to avoid mistaken transactions. The Ministry of Local Government in September this year released 251 million kwacha as part of the 555 million kwacha owed to retirees but concerns that have been raised on LASIF is taking long to the process of payments. Details in this report.
The Local Authorities Superannuation Fund, as part of their corporate social responsibility and celebration of independence, have engaged in a facelift of 3 female dormitories by painting at Matero Aftercare and have donated assorted food items and toiletries.
The activities that are happening here are part of the Independence Week. The Local Authorities Superannuation Fund, being a government institution under the Ministry of Local Government, decided to take on Matero old people's care to help out with the good work that they are doing. So for us, as a corporate social responsibility, as well as just appreciating the work that the Ministry of Community Development is doing.
Matero Aftercare is a place that is designed to offer social welfare for the old and vulnerable individuals on a temporal basis, but this has been a challenge as most people end up overstaying, as explained by Bridget Munungwe, who is the officer in charge.
I am grateful on behalf of the ministry and on behalf of the center for this wonderful donation that has come during the independence period. Thank you to Superannuation Fund. This is a transit home meant to provide accommodation for only a temporary period of time. But due to various social and economic problems of some of the persons whom we admit here, our clients stay here for prolonged periods of time. So we are grateful for this wonderful donation because it will definitely go a long way.
Despite the Ministry of Local Government releasing 251 kwacha as part of the 555 million kwacha owed to retirees, concerns have been raised on how LASIF is taking long to clear some of the retirees. Mr. Milongo, who is the Public Relations Manager, took time to clear out some of those concerns.
Well, our estimation is that the process of payment might go up to March 2020. Because this money is actually more than the 150 million which we received in 2017. So it means we are paying more people. So we want to ensure that when we send money, it doesn't end up in wrong hands. We have about over 1,000 bank accounts with Zanaco which are inactive. And we also identified this week some over 325 accounts with Atlas Mara which are inactive. So all those people have to reactivate their accounts.
Also at Kafuanka, Prime TV News in Lusaka.
And now continued power load shedding has continued plunging small-scale contractors in total misery. Mutale Mpepo, who is president for local contractors, says it is a disaster to be kept without power during time when work is supposed to be done. Mr. Mpepo says productivity levels have reduced, hence for urgent need to ensure something is done. Details in this report.
Spending 15 hours looking out for power in a country beginning to accept the sad reality of limited electricity supply. This, coupled with additional public holidays and planned for by many Zambians, further reduces hours of productivity. Small-scale business persons who, despite being told to take a break, cannot sit back as they look for opportunities to catching on hours lost during power load shedding. It is, however, yet another day of power cuts, as 05 hours to 20 hours is the schedule for some small-scale business entities in Challenge south of Lusaka.
Load shedding is very serious. In fact, for the last 1 month, it continues the whole day. There's no power. Power only comes maybe at 22 hours. By the time it comes to join, maybe 06 hours, power is gone. So us here who are in the business of doing welding, we are actually affected very much.
My welders as of now in a problem kulu. Kumanyumba ukaya vindu vambiri vaonongeka. Chikwati uzangala bwanji. Ndalama kai kuno kwa meni kuno ndiko kwa metosa kamsango. Songa kamsango sikachoka kuno. Vana waza survive bwanji.
Sitingagwaneke mabattery mu usiku kuyasi yali connected. Yaporeka mu usiku. Ngati kulibe wo controller machine. So tipempa onani mawinda nchito window ni nchito ya 1 day but I window yenda mu 2 weeks.
Vintu sivyenda bwino vavutira pamozi malaiti unga kudula manzi kuvuta so tilibe mtendere monga mkantri yatu ino ya Zambia. Malandroad monga mwana kambira mzatu nzona tizapishiwa chifukwa kuli malandroad yena yango yaziwa ko mulungu venango swazwa mulungu swa maenda kuchechi.
Mutale Mpepo, the president for Small Scale and Medium Contractors Association of Zambia, says something needs to be done to address the power load shedding.
You know, we are not able to do our work properly because we do not have power. Anything, my dear friend, hinges on power. But we are crippled. You know, it comes at awkward hours. In most cases, you find that it comes at 21 hours. And you know, security issues, you cannot work in the night. It's compromised. Security issues are compromised. Anything can happen. So if they could, maybe that time of giving us 21 hours, why can't they go around the clock also to see if it can be done maybe during daytime? And night time, maybe they say, no, maybe, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the exact reasons behind that. But we are crippled in as far as, you know, using power is concerned.
In a land endowed with several water bodies and largely dependent on hydroelectricity, the many water bodies don't seem to be helpful. Importing power is a talk. Heard from government officials. Mwakpek Mwenda, Prime TV News, Lusaka.
In international news, Zimbabweans have staged a mass protest on Friday against sanctions imposed by the United States and the European Union during the despotic rule of the late ex-leader Robert Mugabe. Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa has been battling to re-engage with the West since Mugabe was ousted by the military in November 2017. His administration organized a demonstration in Zimbabwe's capital Harare, demanding the lifting of sanctions that have weighed down the country for more than 2 decades. Now, thousands of people gathered for the event, which was declared a national holiday, waving posters and banners as they marched towards the national sports stadium. In sports news, Nangoma has scooped the Alex Musipa Memorial Soccer Tournament. Nangoma emerged victorious after beating Mumbwa Skiuza Football Club 2-0 in the finals of the Mvuma Baranda Public Health Service sponsored tournament. Now the tournament held at Kasalu Secondary School grounds of Independence Day attracted scores of soccer fans. Details in this report.
This was the Alex Musipa Memorial Football Tournament in Mumba District, held on the 24th of October 2019, as Zambia celebrated her 55th Independence Day, and organized by the Vumabaranda Public Health Services in honor and remembrance of the late Alex Musipa. The tournament was contested by 4 teams: Nangoma, Mumba Council Pirates, Forest Rangers and Mumba Skills Football Clubs. In the first game, Nangoma Football Club beat Mumba Council Pirates 3-0 on post-match penalties after the two sides played to a 1-0 draw in regulation time. The second game saw Forest Rangers facing off with Mumba Skills, in a game which saw Mumba Skills winning by a goal to 0 and making it to the final, where they faced Nangoma Football Club. However, it was Nangoma Football Club who used their experience, beating Mumba Skills 2-0 to claim the title and walking away with 2,000 kwacha as prize money. From Vumabaranda Public Health Services Chief Executive Officer Kennedy Nduna, the tournament's growth has pleased him.
This is the 5th tournament, and as long as I'm alive, I can assure you that we still have many more to come. We started small and we are getting bigger and bigger. We expect next year again to be here with a bigger. Today you've seen, when we started we were just using the local teams, but now we are the teams in Division 1 Central, about 2 of the teams competing with some teams that are in Division 2, where Nangoma FC also participated and they won the trophy. We are very happy that a Division 2 team can beat a Division 1 team.
And coaches from the first and runners-up have thanked the sponsors for the tournament.
I would like to thank our supporters, our fans here. They have always been giving us a right hand in terms of supporting us. And to our team, it's ISPEC. We love you always. You are good. You have been doing us wonders. So we cannot stop from here.
I did appreciate our sponsor, Mr. Kennedy Nduna, who is the CEO of Vumabaranda company from Solwezi. Otherwise, he has really brought light. He has brought development to Nangoma. From the time we started this league, we came out number 1 from Sepafa, and our team was promoted to Division 2. And now when we check the table, we are already on number 1.
The runners-up walked away with a 1,500 kwacha as prize money, while the third finishers walked away with 1,000 kwacha. For Prime TV Sports, I'm Humphrey Monza, Mumba District.
Finally, in the news, the Ministry of General Education, in conjunction with Chongwe Secondary School, Friday morning thunderously received 3 under-17 soccer players who took part in the just-ended COSAFA Cup in Blantyre, Malawi. The 2 are Moses Mulenga, who finished as best player of the tournament, Brian Mate and Nelson Galufu. Details in this report.
There was a thunderous welcome in Chonge District on Friday morning for 3 of the Zambia Under-17 men's national soccer team players in Moses Mulenga, Brian Mate and Nelson Galufu, the trio from Chonge Secondary School, among whom 2 participated in the just-ended 2019 Under-17 Youth Championships in Blantyre, Malawi, which Zambia eventually won. Moses Mulenga, who was also voted best player of the tournament, and Brian Mate were instrumental in Zambia's victory. Despite Galufu not traveling with the team, the school saw it wise to celebrate him as well, as he was part in the initial stage. Ministry of General Education, Lusaka Province Senior Education Standards Officer of Expressive Arts, Ozo Nakachinda, was guest of honor. He has congratulated the boys for representing Zambia well. He has further thanked the Football Association of Zambia for adding the boys with school scholarships.
When you talk of these 3 names, you are talking of Zambia, you are talking of Lusaka, you are talking of Chongwe, the district Chongwe Secondary School. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a wonderful and a miracle day that today we have held the 3 boys who participated in a big tournament. I want to appeal to the sports teachers to encourage boys and girls who are participating in these sports disciplines to work hard.
And speaking on his behalf, Bachongwe Secondary School Head of Department of Expressive Arts Lamek Chikwasha, Head Teacher Bishop Siawanta, has thanked the technical bench led by Coach Oswald Mutapa for giving the boys an opportunity.
We are also gratitude to the national coach under 17, Mr.